Welcome to the Raspy Voice Kids.
RVK.
If you've been here before, we want to thank you for coming back.
Absolutely.
If you've never been here, but you love the Mountaineers, we've always been family. You just didn't know it yet. We've been wanting to talk about Tony Gibson. He is the leader of the Dogs. That is West Virginia's defense. And people have been talking about him possibly moving on, getting a head coaching job. There are so many people around the country, though, who still don't respect him for what he is, which is, in our estimation, probably the best defensive coach in all of the Big 12.
Absolutely. No, there's no question about that.
And he's a big concern, especially because we've got Mountain Greer coming in.
Yeah.
We got Jake Spavital calling the plays. We've got a great stable of running backs led by Justin Crawford returning.
Yeah.
Our receiving core is deep as always. And the question mark, which has been the case in Morgantown probably since we got in the Big 12, is the defense. So many people are concerned about the defense. They're concerned because we don't return so many starters. This year it's only 3 if you don't count Drayvon Askew Henry, which we do. We've already made that clear. So the question is Tony good enough to make us good enough?
I think this question is so funny because I believe, like us as Mountaineer Nation, we believe in Tony Gibson. Every year he produces a product that surpasses what we believe it should. Like, we love Tony. We love Gibby. I'm going to saying Tony. We love Gibby.
We always say in Gibby we trust.
No, absolutely. I think it's funny, though. Like, if you think back when it started, when he first came back to West Virginia, do you remember hearing some of the stuff that he said?
Yeah, that Gibby said or that people said about him?
No, that people said about him.
Yeah, no, I was looking at that actually when we were preparing for the show because I'd forgotten people's reactions. And I was reading through Twitter, and there was some real vitriol expressed towards the hiring of Tony Gibson.
And that's the thing. You forgot. I never knew. I didn't know until I started looking it up. And I started seeing, like, I'm going to read it straight off here. This is one person who tweeted. He said, Gibson coached the safeties at Arizona last year. West Virginia had the 122nd pass defense. Arizona had the 121st. I want to cry.
Are you going to say his name? You going to put him out there?
I'm not putting him out there.
All right, we're not going to put you out there.
Hey, we're family. We're family.
But you know who you are.
You know who you are. Look, no, but he's not the only one. There's other things I have lined up here.
All right, read the next one.
All right, I'll read the next one. He said, he said 4 words. 4 words. Please not Tony Gibson. That's all he said.
But he used ellipses in between each one, so he felt strongly. He wanted to make sure we knew. Please not Tony Gibson. That was the sentiment.
No. I want to read one more. I was going to stop.
Okay.
He said, Tony Gibson as WVU cornerback coach, this is bad. Really bad. I cannot express how bad this is. Like, for me, I didn't know all this stuff.
No, I know you wanted to only read one more. Read the last one. Okay. Because this is the one that, to me, is the most nonsensical.
Do you want to read? I'm going to let
I'll
you
read it.
Go ahead.
This is the one that when I read it, because I'd forgotten. This is when I read it, I was like, guys and girls, you need to realize Tony Gibson is one of the reasons Rod was fired at Michigan. He can't coach defensive backs.
I didn't know this stuff. I'm going to be honest. I'm a Mountaineer fan, and I watch West Virginia. I did not know that. Like, I did know at the time that we had a few defensive coordinators, DeForest and whatnot, who didn't pan out. And so
didn't pan out.
I'm trying to be nice.
Very generous.
Trying to be nice, didn't pan out.
So
when they announced a new defensive coordinator, I was like, we'll see how this one works out. I did not have the strong feelings like I reread off Twitter. I had no clue this was going out.
For me, the biggest thing I thought about when we were getting Tony Gibson is this is a West Virginia guy. And I know we're not trying to be like Michigan. We're not trying to be like Big Blue Nation where we do this thing where we say it's got to be a Michigan man. However, because of our state population, because of the specifics of the state that we live in, culturally, politically, having a person who's from Van, West Virginia meant something to me. That meant something to me from the jump. And I could not give you statistical analysis for why I thought he'd be successful, but I knew it was good to have somebody who understood who and what we were coaching our defense again.
I love the fact that you say understood who and what we were. I like that. But you know what I like more than that?
Winning.
So you're sitting here saying, I like somebody from Van, West Virginia. I do too, if he wins.
Yes.
You know what I don't like? Somebody from Van, West Virginia who doesn't win. Fortunately for us, Gibby gets it done.
Gibby gets it done. And the thing about him,
I'm just being real.
And the thing about him getting it done, like as we mentioned, people are talking so much about the players we've lost. That's all anybody wants to talk about. Anytime you get in a chat room, anytime you're on any kind of a thread, whether it be Twitter, whether it be Facebook, wherever you are, when people come at us, what they're always saying is, but you guys have lost so much. You guys lost so many starters.
And those are people who don't watch the games.
They don't watch the games.
Who don't know what's going on.
So let's give you, well, what they're saying is true in large part if you want to go just on starters. But Jed Drenning did an excellent job of explaining how numbers do lie contrary to popular opinion, meaning that just because you say a person is lost or just because a starter is gone doesn't mean that the person replacing them didn't play.
Yeah.
And in West Virginia's case, our guys played because of the snap counts, because of basically how many plays are run in each Big 12 game. Our defensive linemen, our defensive backs, our linebackers, they all play an enormous amount, even if they're not starters. That's what Tony Gibson is bringing back this year.
Yeah.
And why that's important is if you look at what he did before, because last year was the same kind of thing.
No. And by the way, I hear you, and I want to give people a pass for like seeing that we lost a bunch of starters, and then deciding, well, that maybe they're not that great because they lost so many starters. The reason why I don't give them a pass is because we've done this year after year after year. Gibson has showed it's not necessarily about the players. We love our players, and they're great, and they went on to the NFL. And we're going to talk about how many people he's put in the NFL. But this is about the system. This is about coaching.
Well, it's a combination of both, which is why we're excited, for example, about Mountain
recruiting.
Greer. It's a combination of all of those things. So you look at, for example, so in 2014, we gave up 30 points per game. Not great. We were 82nd in the nation with that.
Okay.
So the next year, so what happens is we have 4 starters that get replaced. The very next year, going into that 2015 season, we get all the way up to the 42nd defense in the nation, giving up only 25 points per game. All right? So then the next year, we replace 8 starters going into the 2016 season. 8 starters is a lot on defense where you're only playing 11 players. Yeah. So where did that put us?
Yeah.
We move all the way up to 35th in the nation at 24 points per game.
Yeah, I feel you.
So this year, if you're not counting Drayvon Askew Henry, which we do count, but if you're not going to count him, then you're going to say that we have 9 starters replaced. But just last year, we replaced 8 and moved up 7 spots in points per game. That's just one metric by which you can see that our defense was successful with Tony Gibson at the helm. Why? Because Tony can identify playmakers. Tony can identify how to get those playmakers into prime position to disrupt the quarterback, to create turnovers, and to employ a bend but don't break defense. Because at the end of the day, who cares how many yards you give up if you're not giving up points?
No, that's true. I remember we had this argument about Jeff Castile. Bend but don't break. Isn't that interesting? Do you remember what you told me? Because I
don't remember what I told you.
Do you not remember? Because I was a big proponent. I was like, Jeff Castile, bend but don't break. Bend but don't break. And I remember you told me he does that. He plays a 3-3-5.
Oh, well, it's true.
Because he didn't have the talent to play something else.
That's true. He didn't have the option.
This is different. This is
I'll say this. I won't say all the way that it's different. It is somewhat different because of course Tony Gibson runs a 3-3-5 the same way Jeff Castile did. Okay.
No, it's the same system.
All that said, Jeff Castile was employing that defense against Big East opponents, and Tony Gibson is now employing that against Big 12 opponents.
True.
So even though the caliber of player that we have, the depth that we have, is superior to anything we've had in the last
definitely
I don't know how many years.
All the way up.
We're now playing talent that we weren't playing in the past.
I agree.
And like so much of what we do as an entire football program, a lot of it is smoke and mirrors combined with the talent that we have. We've talked about Kaiser. We've talked about Drayvon.
Yeah.
We've talked about Brendan Ferns, and we've talked about all the players that we're going to have here that we're super excited about.
Yeah.
And facts are facts. What you put on the field is what you put on the field, and the results he's gotten are the results he's gotten. They cannot be disputed.
That's what I love. What I love about Gibby is no matter who's in front of him, like they talk about, you take lemons, you make lemonade. I'm not saying they're lemons. He's had. It sounds bad. I'm just saying, no matter what he has in front of him, he's made it work. He's a great motivational person. He gets him in the gym. He gets him focused. He gets him locked on. Look. You look at other programs, even programs who get all 5 stars. Sometimes they can't get their players locked on. Gibby has the ability. Look how many people he's put in the NFL. Year after year, he gets his guys to focus and play ball. That's what I love. He's a leader.
Well, they stick to their assignments. And that's one of the things I like. If you're sticking to your assignments,
discipline.
It's discipline. If you're sticking to your assignments, it's discipline. It's respect for the coach that you have. It's respect for your opponent. And it's respect for what you're trying to accomplish. And we as Mountaineers know that there's nothing that we expect more than giving everything you have and doing it with respect
Look at what we've done
and
to
accountability.
Look at what we've done to TCU and Baylor the last 2 years.
Yeah.
These high-powered offense, scoring against everybody, running up and down the field like it's a video game. And when Gibby gets in front of them, I love the fact that when I watch a game, I know that the week before they were sitting in that room thinking, how are we going to beat this guy? They get out there and it doesn't work.
Because whatever they plan for, either they can't execute or they weren't ready.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't feel like it's that our talent is so far superior. We may have great talent. I don't feel like our talent is so
It's not.
far.
It's not.
It's that we buy in, we work hard, and we make it happen. And I think that's all a credit to Gibby.
Yep.
And what he's doing.
And that's why we say, as the RVK, in Gibby we trust.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me just say, all right, I want to say this real quick. I'm going to look at the sheet.
Oh, we're adding more.
Yeah, no, we're going to add more. I
right.
just want to add to the sheet real quick. The players that Gibby's coached that he's put in the NFL, and we're not going to talk about lowercase.
No, skip all that lowercase. That time he spent there, doesn't even need to be meant. Why did you even bring that up?
I said lowercase.
Okay, lowercase.
You dwell on it more than I was going to dwell on it. We're not going to talk about Big Blue Nation. We don't hate. Excuse me, not Blue. Michigan. See, I messed that up. Michigan. But we're going to talk about West Virginia. All right. Do you know the players that he's put in the NFL from West Virginia?
I do.
We'll talk about the new ones.
Give him the rundown.
KJ Dillon.
Dog.
My dude. Carl Joseph. We all know about Carl Joseph.
Dog.
Nick Kidakowski.
Dog.
Shaq Riddick.
Dog.
I was wondering if he goes.
He is.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Darryl Worley.
Dog. Left too early.
No, he left too early. Hey, look, but look, he's getting it done in Carolina. And big shout out.
But he would have been a first-round pick with money that would have been guaranteed. But no hating, because he's the man representing West Virginia to the
Absolutely.
fullest. Batman out there doing his thing.
Doing his thing. But let's go back. Way back in the time. Think about Keith Tandy.
Still balling at the Buccaneers.
Ellis Langster.
Doing his thing. Or
D. McCann.
represented.
Pac-Man. Oh, excuse me. He likes to be called Adam. Adam Jones.
I still call him Pac-Man. I don't care what nobody say. As long as that's okay with you.
No, he said,
Mr. Jones. I'll say Mr. Jones.
He said he would.
I'll call Mr. Jones whatever you want. Mr. Jones, whatever you want, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, Mr. Jones. Look, big ups. Lance Frazier. Don't forget about Lance Frazier.
Can't forget Frazier.
And what about Angel Estrada?
That boy. That one of the questions we need to talk about at some point is who hit harder, Carl Joseph, Angel Estrada, Jamal Adey.
Man, look,
We'll do that. That'll be a poll. You guys will be involved.
and I'm partial. The visor, like that's video game stuff. Let's go Jamal Adey.
But hey, BX for Angel Estrada, man. Represent that BX.
He didn't have a visor though.
But he still represents.
If I made a safety right now on the video game that doesn't come out anymore,
Doesn't exist.
he would have a visor. He'd be number 4.
All right.
I feel you, Jamal Adey. Bring it.
All right. So that's why we say,
No,
as the RVK, in Gibby we trust.
absolutely.